What a world, DJ on the mag. What's sliding in the BT11? Oh, let me tell you, it's a very interesting BT because we've got a lot of powerful decks. Well, I'll say powerful decks, you know. RizeGreymon is an absolute menace in this format, and we do have Mastermon as well, which is actually shaping up to a pretty decent deck, especially with the new tools. But in this video, I mean, I've been cooking in the lab like Breaking Bad, and I really do like this archetype. I like where it's going, but I feel like Bandai just missed the mark in terms of the support that it should have gotten in this BT. But regardless, we do have some unique tools that can somewhat accelerate our game plan. So if this is a video for you as I give you 2 packages that you can run, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell. We have hit the 500 subscribers, baby. So let's keep on climbing to that 1K goodness. I'll keep plugging. You guys just keep smashing that subscribe button. So let's go over the ratios, the cards, all the good stuff, because it has changed from my previous one. When I did say, in terms of the eggs, you know, Yokomon was best in slot. Guys, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Greymon be putting in that work because it's just the best red egg in general. Great in Jesmon, great in anything that just needs to, you know, draw and goes based on your DP value. I mean, hitting 6,000 DP in this deck is pretty easy, especially with the cards that we do have. So we do run this at 4, swing with over 6,000 DP, and you're getting that draw 1. Glorious. That's all you need. Just 4 eggs. No need to be messing about with any others. So in terms of the rookie lineup, we have changed a few things. We did obviously have the BT11 promo edition in the original concept, but we've switched it out because we've been learning a few things of how raid actually kicks off, and you still get effects that are targeting the player because it will activate, but because you've redirected your attack, then that still stays and you still swing at the opponent. So really interesting interaction. So in terms of rookies, BT11 is still going to be our staple searcher, real top 3. Get a card, add a red Digimon with vaccine in its traits, and then 1 Tamer as well. Just really good, just getting 2 cards from a possible search, which is just great. Obviously, the deletion is that you gain a memory if you have a Tamer in play, or red Tamer. So realistically, the whole game plan is getting your Tamers out. So that is quite an easy condition to meet. Bearmon, we are running that at 3 just because of the inheritable, especially when you are in your Marsmon. If the Digimon's attack target is switched, this Digimon gains 3,000 DP. That is still huge. It's great for RizeGreymon as well, just for that early turn kind of getting rid of some of their bodies, like if they try to create like a second stack. Not on RizeGreymon's watch. So really good inheritable. We do run that at 3. And then we do run the Agumon as well. So this is obviously going to be helpful for any form of raid Digimon that you are swinging with, because you can actually get the additional 2,000 DP because you've already declared attack at security, but you've redirected to the highest DP Digimon on field. So you still get that 2,000 DP, which is a rather interesting interaction. So this is definitely best in slot for that. And also helps out your Phoenixmon just hitting those higher numbers. So lastly, we do go in with the Solomon. Just, you know, we're running a Tamer based deck. Defx is still about. Cross art is definitely relevant in this format. So just running the 2 Solomons is definitely crucial. It's searchable, so we don't want to be running any more because it kind of gets a bit, not bricky in hand, but you find that you don't really want to have a stack without an inheritable in it. When you're building, you do need really good inheritables to ensure that your top end is going to be smacking for face right there. So that concludes for our rookie lineup, 12 as standard. So going on to the champions. Champions have had a bit of a reshuffle here. We still go in with the RizeGreymon. We do run this at 3 now, because we want to be accelerating our game plan, being the main thing here. This deck isn't fast, but we got to make it fast, and we've got to start building out more bodies to start chipping at the opponent. So it has got raid, which is actually really helpful for controlling the board, which is good. And also it has the same inheritable as Bearmon, obviously helping out your Marsmon or your Grape Leomon when swinging in to security / redirected to the highest DP Digimon on field. So really strong card right here. Do run that at 3. We do run the Digimon at 4. This deck, you gotta have some blockers in there. You gotta have some blockers to, you know, prevent your ass getting beat. Let's just say that. So its inheritable is actually pretty decent because even on deletion, you may play 1 red Tamer with a play cost of 4 or less from hand without paying its memory cost, which is actually really strong. We do have options that can effectively trigger on deletion effects. So effectively, you could play that option. You could literally pick this inheritable because it's on deletion and play a Tamer out for free whilst deleting an 8k body on the field, which is actually pretty decent. Not the ideal play, but it is an option that you can actually take. So we do run that at 4. Really good search target as well for Phoenixmon if you just need to get some blockers out. So the source, guys, the source. When I was testing, I was like, right, I really need a way to effectively just get Tamers out on field. If I've got a bricky hand, this is just perfect if you have a 3 cost or lower Tamer in your hand and you can just throw this bad boy down for 5. The reason why, because it's on play and also when digivolving, you may play a one Tamer card, so it doesn't even necessarily matter what color it is, which works well in this deck, with a play cost of 3 or less, so we can obviously get out our key Tamer to do the nice reveal 4, get a red vaccine Digimon, which is just fantastic, without paying its memory cost. Glorious. It's absolutely a great first turn play if the opponent throws down, say, like a Tamer or something, or for you to kind of go in and just like, yeah, put something in Rize in, throw this down, get a Tamer search. Really, you've got a lot of value from kind of giving a bit more memory than you would normally do. As well, it's got a really cool inheritable, is that while you have a Tamer in play, doesn't matter what color it is, this Digimon gains 2000 DP, which is pretty huge. It means that your Phoenixmon's obviously hitting a little bit higher. You've got a Tamer out on the field. You've got ways to climb up a little bit quicker if you've got a bit of a bricky hand. Honestly, this is a really good card, and I have to bump it up to 3 because it's been really helpful. On top of that, obviously, if you're going to Evo it, it does cost 3, unfortunately. But depending on what your opponent's doing, if your opponent's slamming you on 2, you could re-choke them back whilst still gaining momentum with your game plan and throwing a Tamer out, which is going to be sweet. Unfortunately, you can't throw a 4-cost Tamer because, you know, throwing a hero out would be the source. But we do run a fair few 3-cost Tamers, which just works with this build. So we do run that at 3, really solid. Honestly, definitely look into it, guys. So going on to the Ultimates. Ultimates have not really changed too much, but I'm not gonna lie, this has been massively helpful in terms of just getting some form of regression. It's got the same value as, say, the Tyrannomon, is that, you know, I can throw out any Tamer. It doesn't matter what cost it is, it's just throwing that out there. Or if I already have a Tamer out, I'm playing this bad boy for 5, which is the same cost as Tyrannomon. So overall, really solid right here. Then once per turn, in terms of inheritable, when one of your opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory, and this is actually not tied to this Digimon deleting the opponent's Digimon. That's just literally just blanket. So if you was going to use an option, you was going to delete something, and this was out on, well, say if you was in Marsmon or Phoenixmon and you had this inheritable, you would just gain memory, reduce that cost of that option. Really strong card here, guys. Absolutely love it. And then in combination, we do run the X antibody version. This adds a lot of speed to the deck. It means that you're not focusing solely on your top end. You've got somewhat punchy in the actual middle, which is super strong because getting 2 checks off, getting massive DP gains is great. And obviously it lasts till the end of your opponent's turn, meaning that you've got an additional 3k DP if you was going to Evo into, say, Phoenixmon. Meaning that Phoenixmon is sitting at 14k rested. So if the opponent's going to delete it, it's not really, it's going to be a lot harder because the DP threshold is a lot higher. But also, realistically, you don't really want to delete Phoenixmon because you just facilitate its plan in spawning other Digimon out on the field. So really solid card here. Was really tempted to go 3-3 split, but I still feel like having a few beasts and birds in the ultimate line is actually pretty crucial, especially if you are running Phoenixmon there as well, because you do want some targets if your tamers, if you've got the right condition in terms of the tamers that you've got out there. So definitely a powerful play. So we do run in with the one Garudamon. I really wish that this on Evo just played a tamer out. It'd be fantastic. It would really help the deck. Having another blocker top end is good. It does help. It means that, say, Melga can't essentially bounce this back because, well, not Melga, but the where Garumons can't bounce this back because it's not a level 4 blocker. So it means that, you know, I can still swing in, but 9 times out of 10, they're already swinging over this anyway, which is a little bit annoying. But its inheritable is pretty sick. It's same as Birdramon, so you could technically, if Phoenixmon or whoever your top end is going to die, you could literally get a lot of tamers out there, which is great. But 9 times out of 10, you've pretty much got your tamers already established in a sense before you can even get to Phoenixmon. It's not really desirable for you to get to Phoenixmon first without actually having any form of tamers down. It's just not the way, guys. It's not the way. You're not getting anything from it. So it's an alright card for a nice little bit of blocker. Great target for Phoenixmon's ability if you've got the right tamer set up. But I do just run that one. I still feel like RizeGreymon is an absolute solid card here just because of the raid mechanic. Can really help clear out board. Obviously, like I say, another good search target for Phoenixmon. And obviously, if you do have the free cost tamer, suspend, give it rush, then it can raid into something, just giving that bit of board control. On top of that, its inheritable is pretty spicy if you do manage to get into Marsmon, because when this Digimon's attack target is switched, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So pretty huge right there, especially if you just want that aggression and kind of safe swinging with your Marsmon. So that concludes for the ultimates. We do run 9, a little bit hefty, but realistically, this is just kind of like your hard slam down. But if you're having your tamers out, it's a pretty cheap ultimate to then slam down there as well. Once again, accelerating that game plan. So going on to your top end, we still run the free Phoenixmon. It's still nice. I do wish it did a little bit more. Been talking in the Discord, and one of the issues that it has is blockers. It's like, if a blocker's out on field, you ain't getting his ability. Realistically, the first effects needed to be when attacking. That would have made this card so nice, but unfortunately it's not. So your turn once per turn. When a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, you may activate one of this Digimon's on deletion effect. So ideally, you're going to go for the second part where you're able to play one red Digimon with Avian, Bird, Beast, Animal, or Sovereign in one of its traits and 3000 DP or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. And then for each red tamer you have in play, add 2k to the maximum DP of the card that you can play. So really huge. Ideally, what you're wanting to be doing with Phoenixmon is essentially getting enough tamers out that you can resummon out a Phoenixmon to then give it rush, for then that to then swing and then cycle the process even more. So a really good spawning mechanic. It's getting there and not getting blocked being the issue. I did think, you know, why don't we just run that high-speed plugin? You know, it just makes it that it can't be blocked. Definitely an option that you can probably take in. Something that I probably need to test, so I will let you know. Make sure you subscribe. But it is a nice card. It's just getting there. The journey is so long. It's like, frick me. It's a battle. But when you're there, you're eating well. Let's just say that. So we do run that at 3. Then the Marsmon, brass knuckles, boy ready to do damage. He's going in and going in hard. Marsmon is an absolute treat. I did manage to net myself 3 of the alt arts for a pretty decent price, which I'm pretty happy about. So that's coming in the post. But the thing I do like about Marsmon is that, one, obviously it's got raid, really good. So once again, board control. We have a lot of inheritables that are making this boy reach some nice DP values. I think the highest DP value I managed to get this boy at was 18. And that were a few heroes down, and this boy was like, are you okay, guys? He was going through that boy nice and easy. But the issue that we have here in this current meta, and I'm just going to say it now because in case people think, oh yeah man, this boy can be going into Black Greymon X. Yeah, there's a slight issue with that. So let's get it. So when Digimon gains Blitz, perfect. That's really good for this deck because 9 times out of 10 we are sitting at around about 3 unless the opponent kind of gives us more memory. So having that Blitz is perfect. Then your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon's attacks targets is switched, unsuspend this Digimon and gain 1 memory for each red tamer you have in play. Amazing. Like, if you have your board set up, you're grabbing a lot of memory back, this boy's restored, you can literally just start excelling, well, building up your board. You're thinking about some future plays right here. So ideally your game plan is kind of like you want to go into Marsmon first. Have a secondary stack chilling in the wings. And the way I built this deck is essentially we are throwing down cards out, facilitating getting those tamers out, but also we can be then working on our actual stacks, and this is going to be giving us that memory to do so, to obviously get into Phoenixmon and all that good stuff. But when you are versing RizeGreymon, guys, because the unsuspend is not at the end of attack, you die. if this Digimon is the only Digimon on field, and RizeGreymon can trigger its effect first because you've unsuspended technically before the attack's initiated, you die before it's happened. And I don't get how that happens. It's like you're going in like, it's just like, I don't understand what happens there. But that's how it goes. That is how it goes. I've learned that. Oh, deck can't get a break. Deck can't get a break apart from Marsmon breaking his hand. So definitely something just stuff to watch out for. But regardless, it's undeniably a really great mon here. I'm hoping that it'll have more support in its own type, more of like bear focus. That'd be kind of nice. But it does work in this deck. But realistically, game plan, you need to be kind of getting to Marsmon first, having your tamers out, and then you can really rapidly climb up with your second stack to get Phoenixmon out. So going on to the tamers, you're probably thinking, whoa, this tamer lineup's a little bit random. Let me explain why. So obviously Hero's gonna be your main room setter. This is gonna be key in terms of you just swinging big numbers, which is great. So yeah, pretty much, you know, if you suspend it, you gain 2000 DP. It's only when you're swinging with your level 5 or higher, which 9 times out of 10 that's what we're going to be going for. If we do use our Metal Greymon and then X antibody, just further DP value gains, just really adding that nice aggression early, which this deck suffers with. If you go with its own kind of focus archetype, it's quite slow and it's not really doing enough output. So definitely Hero at 3, you want to be getting this boy out. If you just get him out as soon as you get him. Then we do run the I still can't pronounce the name. Akiho. I think I've done it, guys. I think I've done it. Comment in the box. Really strong tamer. This is what you want to be seeing. And this is when, like, you know, we are using our Tyrannomon. We just throw that down. We throw this down. We just getting that searching. We're really accelerating our plays and meeting our condition to obviously, you know, get to our top end. Because realistically, you know, reveal top 4, add 1 red Digimon card with vaccine in its traits among them to have and place the rest at the bottom, which is just fantastic. This whole deck is all about vaccine, but we do have targets outside of the vaccine package. So Tyrannomon is one of those, unfortunately, but the reason why we do run 3, I've never had an issue not actually having him in hand, which is nice. And then your turn, when you play a red Digimon with Avian, Beast, Animal or Bird, Sovereign, card by an effect, by suspending this tamer, that Digimon gains rush for the turn, which is just fantastic. That's why obviously getting to our Phoenixmon is kind of key, because we can then start doing that aggression that this deck's infamous for. But obviously there is a lot of, I say a lot of, there is one deck that that really fucks your day, and obviously that is your RizeGreymon that can just remove tamers and literally obliterate your tamer lineup, which is pretty wounding. But we do have ways to obviously kind of rebuild whilst not giving too much memory back. So we do run that at 4, definitely a 4 of. So you're probably thinking, why is this boy in the mix? Honestly, do not sleep on this card. Granted, you know, all your Digimon, it's nothing spicy, but it's pretty huge in order for you to reach Phoenixmon's condition to almost summon out Phoenixmon from your hand. The reason why it's a 2-drop, pretty massive, means that you can keep turn and do something else, which is nice. Also, 1000 DP gain. Perfect. This helps you GreymonPon just swing over Digimon pretty comfortably if they've got like a 5k blocker out. Not a problem. I'm now 6k because I've got this bad boy out. Swing, jobs are good. It's just really good in terms of if you just need a 2-drop just to get Phoenixmon condition popping. This is nice. It's just nice. It works with Tyrannomon. It works with RizeGreymon. Really solid right here. The reason why I've kind of not using like the Tie Kari is because it's a 4 cost. It's a very expensive tamer to get out. Granted, when it's out, it's the source, but it really slows the deck a lot if you're using it within this package. Obviously, we've got another package we're going to talk about, which it probably work a little bit better. But that concludes our tamer lineup right there. Pretty solid. Going on to our removal, we do run the Magna Bomb. This was from a comment in my previous video, and I completely agree with this brother because it just works quite nice. If you have a red tamer out in play, cost of 5, and then you just delete the lowest DP Digimon on field. So obviously this format, what about those big towers? This can target said big tower for very little, which is just perfect right here. Really great in security there as well, and it kind of acts like a Gaia Force in a sense if they've not built a wide board. But luckily enough, we do have ways to kind of obviously get rid of the bigger targets with raid, and then if we do need to somewhat get rid of something to prevent lethal, we can throw a Magna Bomb there too, which just really helps for the cost of 5. We do run Crimson Flare. This is quite an interesting card and a good interaction in terms of using Phoenixmon's ability twice whilst adding a bit of removal in there as too. Because main, when you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8000 DP or less, or you delete one of your Digimon with 8000 DP or less, then if you have a red tamer in play, you can activate one of your on-deletion effects of one of your red Digimon with vaccine traits with vaccine trait. So this could effectively trigger Phoenixmon's ability to then summon out something else or play a tamer. Basically anything within Phoenixmon's stack, or just a mon that's got deletion effects in its stack. This is where this kind of shines, which is pretty cool. And it's 4/5 cost there as well. So really solid. Also, its actual security effect is the main effect, which can also once again come in clutch in terms of you getting more Digimon out on the field, or getting tames out, or gaining memory, or so forth. Really depends on what your stack is. But overall, we do run that 1. And then lastly, we do run the 1 Fireball. Just getting rid of those floodgates is handy, or we can just draw 2, which is sweet. And then security, we can trigger its main effect, which is also banging. So that concludes for my list that I've been really fucking working on, guys. I've been putting in work on this list, and I'm happy. I'm pretty confident of where it's going. There is just unfortunate matchups, which just tamer removal, it just hits it a lot, and it's pretty rife in this current format. We Hades Force, Boom, we obviously Mastic, and also Pop Tamers there as well. So there is a lot of tamer hate, and for this to kind of really get popping, you gotta get your tamers out. Unfortunately, Marsmon is a really good top end in terms of not solely relying much on the tamer premise, but does get benefit of getting those tamers out. Obviously that memory game. So that is the, I don't even know, let's call it just the Digi package. Let's just go with that. So then we're going to go with the Rize package. There's been a lot of talk about the Rize package, so I want to kind of amalgamate like what I've learned from my build and kind of incorporate it into this build. The only concerns I have with this build is that you are getting to the Rize kind of pop off here, is that I feel like you're really focused on that one stack in order to get a lot of return back, which is fine. But bad times then, the opponent just clapped your cheek so quick you just can't even respond, and that's the issue that I find. So we'll briefly talk over what changes I've applied. We won't go over through every card. But we still obviously run the Greymon, we still run our Bearmon, Bearmon, Ogmon, and Solomon. That's pretty standard. Rookie lineup still remain the same. In terms of our actual champions, obviously we're still running the Tyrannomon. I still think it's still got a lot of value. That 2k DP when playing the Tamer, well, when you have a Tamer out in the field, is still pretty freaking huge. I still think the when Digivolving is actually really strong, because effectively what you could be doing if you have the memory, you could effectively get 3 Tamers out in one freaking climb up session, which is not bad at all. But it does require you to kind of have your Mon exposed, which most likely the opponent will have an answer for it. But the option is there if you're solely trying to just get your Tamers out quickly. So in terms of obviously the Rize kind of package, the thing that makes this good is that 1, you can Digiburst 2 cards from your stack, and then you can play a red or yellow Tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost, which is strong. That means that we can just literally play, ideally, you know, we want to be either playing our hero or we're playing our Tai, Khmer, and Kari. They're the 2 main targets that you want to be using with this. A little bit of a waste if you do have to use this, but, you know, the option is still there. Then, when you do climb up to your RizeGreymon X antibody, obviously for this it costs a Digivolve of 1. I feel a bit greedy and I wish it was free, but for what it does, I understand why it costs an additional 1. Obviously as well, it is a 4 cost Evo if you haven't got Rize in there, so effectively it's the same, but you're kind of getting less of the value. So when Digivolving, you may play 1 yellow or 1 red Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost, which is just huge. Means that we're just kind of, once again, getting our real beneficial Tamers out in order for us to kind of get that memory to do more plays down the line. And then as well, if RizeGreymon or X antibody is in the Digimon's Dissolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets 2000 DP for each of your yellow or red Tamers that you have in play, which is actually pretty massive. Gives you a bit of removal, and depending on how many Tamers you kind of got out there. So in reality, this could pretty much clear out a hefty Digimon, because if you go through like let's just say we had like perfect line of Tyrannomon, RizeGrey, and RizeGrey X antibody, that is 3 Tamers that you've got out. And if you just manage to play your Tai, Khmer, and Kari, just deleting big numbers right there. So really strong. And then your turn, for each Tamer that you have in play, this Digimon gains 1000 DP, which makes it quite hefty in terms of swinging into things. The only issue here is that the aggression is not really there. Like, in terms of you doing an additional security checks or whatever, it's just not really there. But in terms of facilitating the game plan, it's done an amazing service, you know, undeniable. So we do run that at a 4 and a 3. I think that's pretty solid if you're focusing on just getting those Tamers out sharpish. We do run the Grapplingmon at 2 still, which is fine. In terms of the top end, we actually have lowered down the Phoenixmon a little bit, because we feel like ideally you want to be kind of going into your Marsmon for your aggression, but you can ultimately flick the ratios to how you want it. I feel like Marsmon is still a very solid contender in terms of just getting rid of blockers. Like, it's all right building out your Tamer stack and so forth, but if the opponent's just got a straight blocker blocking your way, this is just doing nothing unless you use the option in order to trigger that deletion effect. So yeah, blockers really wall it. Like I say, you could use high speed plugin to just ensure that you're going to be getting it off, just grant it jamming, and the opponent can't block, which is sweet. But I do feel like Marsmon, you're going to get a lot of memory back, which is great. You're going to be swinging a lot more easier, because you can reduce the DP of security based Digimon with Tai and Kari's effects, which is fine. But lastly, in terms of like the other changes, obviously do run the 1 Sunrise Buster. It kind of makes sense. We've got the colour requirements to do so. The reason why I've not ran it in the other build is that ideally I need to have it in security, which most likely it probably won't be in there. So that's the reason why I don't run it in the other build, but for this build it makes perfect sense. We still run the Magnum Bomb. I think this is just, once again, still a very solid, cheap option to run to get rid of the your harsh towers, which is fine. And then lastly, we still run the Fireball because, I mean, getting rid of little mini floodgates is beautiful, as well as having the option to kind of unbrick ourselves and use Fireball and choke the opponent. But guys, that concludes the video. Let me know what you think to these packages right here. Which one do you prefer? What have you been testing? Drop it in the comments, let a brother know. But guys, stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. DigiDread off the mic.